everyone, this is my tutorial on how to do Element 3D on Blender for Roblox. So this is my first tutorial and like my first video with my voice in like a really long time, so don't judge guys, but anyways, let's just hop straight into the tutorial. So first you're gonna load in your avatar to for the Element 3D, so you're just gonna have to have this plugin. It's free on Roblox. I just install it. It's by Already Pro and it's really great. So just when you get it, write your username and load your avatar in and press spawn R15. Make sure you spawn at origin, otherwise this will not work. And then once it's there, just go over here and move it up to be where its feet are just on the ground. And next you're going to get this plugin, animation editor, and you're going to click that and select the character and press select. And once you've done that, this will all pop up. This might look confusing to you, but you're just gonna tap each body part and it'll give you like a rotating thing so you can do this. And so I just do like a simple pose, so let's just do that really quickly. And once you've done your animation, do not click off the X, do not click that yet. You're gonna go to model, you're gonna select your character right here, and then you're going to click anchor. This is really important, and then you can just press X, because if you don't do that, then your animation will just disappear and you'll have to start all over again. Next, you're going to select your character in the Explorer and right click it and press save/export and do export selection. Once you've done that, I just make a folder. I already have one here, and you're just gonna name it something. And then you're gonna press save. Once you've done that, you can just hop out straight into Blender. Okay, now we're in Blender, so you can just click off that, and then you're going to right click this cube and you can just press delete. First, you're gonna click the camera up here, and we're just gonna set its position. And this is really important so we can see the character once we're done. So you're just gonna copy my settings in this tab. You're gonna do these settings. And once you've done that, your camera should be in this position. Reminder, if you don't know how to move around in Blender, you use your middle mouse button and it'll just swipe around the screen. And yeah, next we're gonna import our character. So you're gonna go File, Import, Wavefront OBJ, and go to Downloads and find your folder that you saved your character to. Once you found your folder, you're gonna double click it and then find your object that you saved and do import OBJ. Next, we are going to set the anchor point on the avatar. So to do this, you're going to click Object, Set Origin, and set origin to center of mass or the volume. And that should move your anchor point right there, and it'll rotate from that point, which is what we want. And next, we are going to import the audio so we can hear what we're doing when we're editing. So before we do this, we're going to make sure that we have 60 FPS on, because if we don't do this, it'll look like your clip is fast. So we don't want that. So we gotta make sure to change this to 60 FPS by going to this little film section right here and change the frame rate to 60. Once you've done that, we're going to import our audio. To do this, you should just screen record a video on your computer, and once you've done that, you can just use a converter like this and choose your file with your video and your audio, and it'll transfer it to an MP3, which is an audio. And once you've done that, it just saves your computer. And then you're going to change the, you're going to drag up from the corner right here so we can have another timeline, and this one will be for the audio. And you're going to change this to a video sequencer. Once you're going to do that, you're going to click Add Sound, and then you're going to go to your music and find your audio that you saved, and then you click Add Sound Strip. Once you've done that, you should be able to see your audio on here. Just zoom out a little bit. And if your audio is longer than it should be, just move it around, and then at the end of your audio, you should find what frame this is. So for me, it is frame 430, so I should change the end to be 430. And just like that, your timeline will get long enough, and you play just like that. And so next we're going to start adding our animation, our keyframes. So I'm going to be doing a loop or like a reverse in the middle of mine. So I'm going to play the audio until I want the keyframes to stop moving. So it happens right about here. And you can always just make your keyframes go for the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. It's just up to you, personal preference. But now we're going to select our avatar, and we are going to the keyframes are, which is this orange box right here. Once you've done that, you should see all these keyframes. We're mostly focused on the rotation ones. If you want to zoom in your character, like make it come from the back and make a zoom in, you can always do that by using the location ones. But let's focus on the rotation ones for this tutorial. So you're going to start by adding rotation keyframes at the beginning of your clip, and then moving to your spot where you want your keyframes to end. Then you're going to just rotate your avatar based on how you want. So I'm just going to rotate it 360 degrees, or just one full rotation up and down, and then I want to rotate the avatar this way as well, not on the y-axis. And then once you're happy with your keyframes, you just choose which ones you changed and save them by clicking it again, and then your keyframe should save, and then it should look like this. And then if you want to if you're happy with these keyframes, you're going to move on to the lighting phase. Also, if you're interested in what your animation is looking like, you can just go to this tab and look at it. Also, I forgot to tell you guys one thing. You have to change the dimensions for the camera. So we're just going to head over to the camera up here and go to this film. And then you're going to change the dimensions of the camera right here. So you're going to change it to 1080 by 1920. If you're doing a square, I would just do 1920 or 1080 by 1080, which will just make it a square. But if you're doing the TikTok size, that's the size. And you're just going to make sure that your avatar does not leave this area at all. If it is, you're just going to select your avatar and move it back one by going to this. You're going to do it by moving the Y location backwards, and that'll just adjust your location. But if it is not intersecting with this, you're just going to leave it how it is. And once you're happy with that, we're going to move on to the lighting phase. So we are going to take this light and we are going to copy it by doing Control-C, Control-V. And we're going to take that light and we are going to go to the light bulb right here. And we're just going to adjust the power based on how we like it. So we can just go to the animation over here and see how much power we really want from the light. Also, you can change the color of the light right here. I recommend doing like a yellowish white, which will make it look like more natural lighting. Once you're happy with that, you're going to copy that light and you're just going to go back to layout and move the light to the opposite side of the other one. And I would also move both forward a little bit so they're showing on the front of the character. Now it should look something like that. Also, if your character is showing up transparent like this, you have to select your character, drop down menu, drop down again. Then you're going to select each individual one, and you're just going to go down here to blend mode and change it to opaque on each one. And this will make sure that it's not see-through anymore. By the way, this is a voiceover because I didn't explain it right, so yeah. Not transparent. And just like that, it should look like that. And you can just look at your lighting and see if you like it. You can always add more lights or make them darker if you don't like it. Now to add some gloss, we are going to go back and just select our full character, and we're going to turn down the roughness of the character, and now you should see little shiny bits going on. You can also add some clear coat to it, which will give it a little bit more gloss, and that should be good. And then now we're going to make sure that when we render, it'll be transparent. So we're going to go back to the layout area and press add, and we're going to press add mesh and then cube, and then a cube will show up here, and you're going to move this back so it doesn't intersect when the character is moving, and you're going to go to scale, and you're going to scale this up so it covers what the whole screen would look like, and you'll be able to tell because it will do that. And now you're going to change the color of the cube by going to this shading tab again and press new. And then you're going to go to base color, and you're just going to change it to your green screen. And then it should look like a green screen. And this should be good. I wouldn't worry about the shadows in the back. Those should just disappear when you're masking. And now we are going to move on to the rendering stage of the tutorial. So to render, we are going to make sure the settings are correct. So go over to this printing out tab again, and first we're going to change the file format to FFmpeg video, and then we're going to drop down encoding. Make sure that you guys actually put the container as MPEG4 because I did it wrong in this, but don't worry, I'll fix it later. And the video codec is H.264, and then you're going to make sure that your file is, the output is on the folder that you want. So you're going to create a new folder, and I would put this in the downloads area. So create a new folder in the downloads area and just name it what you're going to do. So I'm just going to name it tutorial for this sake. Tutorial video actually, and I'm going to put that, and I'm just double click that, and then I'm going to name it tutorial output, but you can just name it whatever you want, and then press accept, and now you'll see that that's the output of the video. Okay, now that we're got the green screen and everything, and all the settings are correct in the output, all we have to do now is render it. So you're gonna go up here to render, and you're gonna click render animation. I've already done this already, so after you're done, it should be like this, and it should say the amount of frames that are completed. You'll know when it's done when it just stops making frames. This will take a while to render because, depending on your PC, it'll take a while, but once you're done, I would upload your file to Mega, which is a file transporting service which keeps the video smooth and working correctly, and it just keeps higher quality. And once that's finished, you'll be able to open Mega by logging into the same account that you're logged in onto your computer and downloading it onto your device, and then you should be able to edit out the green screen on your editing app using either if you're on Capcut, Chroma Key, if you're on videostar, just use the color mask option that they have. And if you don't know how to do any of these, you can just search up a tutorial. I'm sure there's many out there on YouTube on how to remove a green screen background. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching this video. I really hope it could help you, and if you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll try my best to answer any of the questions that you have. So I hope this helped you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.